for help. So, final two things. This is on the agenda, actually. Just a quick update on where we stand with the athletic complex project that we talked about last month. Since we met last month, we put out what's called a request for qualifications, or an RFQ, to hire an owner's project manager. And the owner's project manager will work for us, the owner, and help us basically navigate this large construction project. It's a highly recommended and I think very important part of a project of this scale and scope. We put the RFQ kind of on the street, if you will. We have to comply with a lot of state procurement laws. A few weeks ago, the submissions are due this Wednesday, November 3rd. And we expect that within the next 7 days that we'll have selected our owner's project manager. So it's a big project. We have about $3 million set aside for this project. 1.8 million came from, I think, the prior 2 fiscal years capital improvement plan. And then most recently, thanks to the town council and Mr. Borg, another 1.2 million was set aside out of this year's certified free cash. So we have $3 million kind of set aside going into the project, and I feel good about that number. Just an update, I know everybody's probably seen by now, we've communicated pretty widely that the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education did extend its mandatory mask requirement last week until January 15th, 2022. So that's, what's that, two and a half months from now. Importantly, they still do allow for what I describe as an off-ramp from the mandate. If individual schools meet an 80% vaccination rate threshold. I said this in a communication last week to the public, but the only building that could even potentially meet that requirement is the high school, just because of the age of the students and the availability of the vaccine. I don't even know what we would do, because it would be a public discussion if we hit the 80% guideline, but at a minimum, I did want to collect the data.
And we're just looking for the school board to rationalize their stance to go along with DESE, because I don't know if you guys know, but there's at least 20 lawsuits right now in the state of Massachusetts because they say the DESE mandate isn't legally administered, right? It has to go through the legislative body. This is what the lawsuits are stating. I'm not sure how it's going to turn out in the courts. But that seems to be the only way that some of these towns are getting the attention of the actual school boards to hear their gripes and their grievances.
But are you asking questions of why natural immunity is not being taken into account?
I haven't asked that question.
Well, it needs to be asked, and it needs to be pushed on. Because if we can get to that 80%, why wouldn't we make mask optional?
I think that my concern here would be the definition of the word guidance. If it's guidance, then we should have the freedom to, try some stuff out. Maybe have masks not required and it's just optional at the parent's decision. But
Were you the chair at the last school committee meeting, though, for your Tri-County?
I'm sorry, what?
Were you acting chair at the last school committee meeting in September or October?
I was
You
acting.
did not make a motion for that.
We did not, no.
So I'm just saying you're asking me,
No,
you are asking me to go take a stance, but you're in the same position as me. So I kind of feel insulted that you're doing it one way and asking me to do it a different way.